All right, Shalom. I'm going to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rechach Quadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops at Great Millstone. I'm your brother, Rabbi Nab, coming out with a lesson, Lord's will. This is edifying to the Lord's elect. Excuse me. I was looking online about Minneapolis, and, I went on X, just typed in Minneapolis. I was just reading about, because there's a bunch of protests going on. For example, it says massive protests in Minneapolis happening right now demanding justice for Renee, which is the lady who was allegedly trying to run over an ICE agent and got shot 3 times. A revolution is brewing. The people are fed up with the system. We need this all over the country, and it's like it's the only way to make change. And as you can see, man, that's a lot of people. And there's protests taking place in Boston, probably in other areas of the country too. Let me grab this in 2nd Edges, the 9th chapter. Because what you saw was uproars of the people. And that's going to increase. Okay, 2nd Edges 9. And I said at the top, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things which, spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. So this is prophecy being fulfilled. There's going to be more. They had uproars of the people for many instances. Before this, they were mad about Maduro being captured from Venezuela. Now they're mad about this lady being shot in America. But there's going to be even more protests. Okay. What's this? No, I wanted to grab something. Where is it? Yeah, this dude. Juan Carlos is a U.S. resident who is currently unhoused and living in his car. Yesterday, 1/9 around noon, he was targeted and assaulted by CBP agents near 22nd in Chicago in Minneapolis. So look at they messed it up, messed his whole face up. He's sleeping in his car. Okay, ICE agents caught on camera beating an unhoused legal resident in Minneapolis. So he's legally here. This is right after the fact that someone just got shot and a white woman got shot. Jesus. See what happens when you believe in the so-called white man? You give him authority to kick you knee you in your face. And don't forget where you're at in Minneapolis. See, when they put their knee on their neck of George Floyd, it was the same thing. Minneapolis got a spirit to it, man. If you ain't got the Lord, man, this is the same type of shit that's gonna happen to you.
Stop kneeing him in the face! That's his face! Stop it!
Back up or you'll be arrested.
They already got his hands behind his back and everything. But Jake it don't come to Jake's mind on why these things are happening. He don't get it, and he's still calling Jesus. So you are still a rebellious nigga. That's what you get. That's exactly what you get. He don't see it as punishment from the Lord. He sees it as he's just rebellious. The Lord got him sleeping in his car. I was sleeping in my car for a while, but I found the truth. And since that point, I've never been homeless again. So it's not that the Lord be trying to humble you down so you can actually receive the truth. But you just can't. And now you're lucky he ain't take your life. You hear his screams? Sound like he's in pain. Dude probably got your ankle back here. He got his knee on your spine. This dude probably got his finger in your butt. You know, these people are weird, man. You know, you got to watch out about Esau, man. These last days ain't going to be nice for you, you wicked Israelites, man. These people sign up for the job. They want to do this. When people see videos like this, they say, and they get incentives to go join, they're happy about it. They run and sign up. They want to do this to you. That's why they signed up for this job. And that could be another Jake too, on top of you. So it's not just a so-called white man thing, man. This Israelites in ICE too. And they got the same type of hate that Esau has for you.
Stop kneeing him in the face! That's his face! Stop it!
Back up or you'll be arrested for impeding. Back up.
I am backing
That's
up. It's
fine.
icy.
Be careful, be careful. Where are we going? All right.
3, 2, 1, go. What's your name? What's your name?
Look how small that dude is,
Ricardo
man.
what? Ricardo what?
That's what the fuck he get. That's what you get. One stupid ass. That's what the fuck you get. Hosea 4:6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge. I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me. Seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God, I will also forget thy children. So this is why you get destroyed. Because you have no knowledge. You still screaming Jesus, you're getting kicked in your face. That's what you get. That's what you get. But ultimately, you know, you got to get on these Israelites too. Esau got a perpetual hatred for you niggas, man. And let me grab that in the book of Amos. He's always going to hate you niggas. And I'm talking about you Latinos. Y'all are niggas. And you Native Americans. You all a bunch of niggas. Amos chapter 1 and 11. Thus saith the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Edom. Edom's a so-called white man. His whole race, they're the Edomites. Okay, so I say so-called because if your bloodline goes back to Esau, you're an Edomite. If your bloodline goes back to Jacob, you're an Israelite. It don't matter what you look like. You got black Edomites. You got Asian-looking Edomites. When you read the book of Numbers, the 1st chapter in the 18th verse, it talks about Moses numbering the children of Israel. Numbers 1 and 18, and they assembled all the congregation together on the 1st day of the 2nd month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names from 20 years old and upward by their polls. So he was getting ready for war, but he was divvying them up according to which tribe they were by the pedigrees of their fathers. So what that shows you is that Israel, you are what your father is. Okay. So it doesn't matter what you look like. That so-called Spanish-looking Juan, I think his name was, who's getting kneed in his face. He could be an Edomite, you know, but I doubt it. But he could be. The reason why I doubt it is because he's going through the same thing that Israel's going through. Okay, other Israelites, that's normal Israelite shit right there. Police brutality, sleeping in your car, just not doing well here, that really like that. But see, the Lord doesn't put you down like that unless he's, like I said, trying to humble you. There's people in, the internet. You got the word. I found the word on the internet. You telling me this word hasn't found you yet? I highly doubt that. I highly doubt that at this point, man, in 2026. At this point, you're a demon. You deserve to get what you get. Amos 1 and 11, thus saith the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4 I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and kept his wrath forever. So Esau, Edom, kept his wrath forever. You can go all the way back to the book of Psalms 137, when Edom said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof. That's talking about the nation of Edom cheering on the Babylonians when we were being taken down. And they even assisted in our destruction during the Babylonian period. They even occupied some of our land that the Persians had to clear them out of there for them to give us back our land. Okay, so just like they do today. They covet land and take it by violence. So they always had a perpetual hatred for you. Why? Because of the blessing in Genesis 25 and Genesis 27, your birthright in the blessing. Our forefather supplanted Esau for his blessing, so he ain't gonna be able to rule forever. So he's mad about that, and he has every right to be mad about that. Okay, if you understand what the Lord has given to the nation of Israel, you would see why this nigga's mad. Okay, and you will see why the Lord hates his ass too. Let me grab this in the book of Ezekiel. Ezekiel, where are you? Ezekiel, I think it's 35. Ezekiel 35, and I'll start at 5. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord Yahweh, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. So the Lord's gonna come after Esau. Okay, he's gonna judge Esau for what he's done to the nation of Israel. The scriptures call it the controversy of Israel. Isaiah 34 and verse number in verse number 8, I'll start at 5. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven, behold, it shall come down upon Idumea, which is the Greek word of saying Edom, and upon the people of my curse to judgment. Okay, so their curse to judgment. That's their curse, is judgment, not salvation. They're here to be judged by the Lord in ultimate wrath. Okay, not like the nation of Israel where we were chastised this whole time, but yet we're still here. Esau is going to get judged. He's going into slavery. He's going to get burnt up. He's not coming back. The sword of the Lord is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and goats, with the fat of the kidneys of rams. For the Lord Yahweh will have a sacrifice in Basra, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea. And the land of Idumea is here in America. Isaiah 34 and 7. And the unicorn shall come down with them, and the bullocks with the bulls. And their land shall be soaked with blood, and their dust made fat with fatness. For it is the day of the Lord's vengeance, and the year of recompenses for the controversy of Zion. Let's look at this. So it's pretty much, I'm going to look at the word controversy, but it's everything that he's done to the nation of Israel. He didn't pay for that. He didn't pay what he did to what happened to Israel back during the Babylonian period. He didn't pay for what he did during the Roman Empire. Okay, he didn't pay for the transatlantic slave trade. And that's just naming a few notable ones. He has multiple sins. Scriptures tell you that his sins have reached up to heaven. So there's things that he's done that we don't even know about, but the Lord remembers. This word controversy is a case at law. Esau got a court date with the Lord, and he's guilty of all charges. He got him, just like when you go into the feds, when feds get you, they already built the case. They know that the 99.9% got you. Then they come and get you after they got all the evidence, and then they go get you. So that's why people are scared of when the feds come, because their conviction rate is so high. But now think about the Heavenly Father, the Most High, who has, it says in Ecclesiasticus 23:19 that his eyes are brighter than the sun. Thou or 10,000 times. Let me grab that. So he sees everything. He's always watching. Ecclesiasticus 23:19. Such a man only feareth the eyes of men, and knoweth not that the eyes of the Lord are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, beholding all the ways of men and considering the most secret parts. So he understands everything about you, why you even did what you did. You know, if you get convicted for murder, they try to find the in Esau's court, they need the why. They need the what was the motive? The Lord looks into all of that. Okay, He understands everything about you to give you the perfect judgment that you deserve. So He's gonna, in His judgment is thermonuclear destruction. So it already gives you a kind of, you read in between the lines how wicked this man gotta be for the Lord to deem a judgment worthy of getting burnt up. Okay, being eradicated. Now, a nation of people to be eradicated, that what did you do? We can barely scratch the surface of what this nigga has done. Never mind what he did to these other nations too. You know, you look at, when you hyper focus on Israel, we went through a lot, but he's done shit to these heathen too. He ain't do, I was reading something about Elam. Elam is a skinny dude, but he suffers from diabetes too. And they were saying because when he conquered that land, he did something. He fucked up their whole diet. They're not even supposed to be like, the way they're dying is because it has something to do with Esau. And that pretty much goes for all these people. Everybody. Because he is as deaf. And that's why Jake getting his ass kicked. Hold on, where's this? What's this? It says, ICE agents get mobbed by Somalis in Minneapolis and retreat in fear. This is not America. We can't go on like this. We must end all third world immigration. Engage merciless mass deportations and banish to hell the political ideology that did this. Engage merciless mass deportations. You see? So these are just spectators asking for these types of things. Merciless this, and James 2:13, for he shall have judgment without mercy that have showed no mercy, and mercy rejoiceth against judgment. So he shall have mercy. He shall have judgment without mercy that have showed no mercy. So since you didn't show any mercy, you're not going to receive any mercy when it's time for you to be judged. Let's grab this let me grab this in the NIV. James 2:13 in the NIV. Because judgment without mercy will be shown to anyone who has not been merciful, mercy triumphs over judgment. I don't think that's what I'm looking for. It might be the NLT. James 2:13 in the NLT. There will be no mercy for those who have not shown mercy to others, but if you have been merciful, God will be merciful when he judges you. That's right. But he's not going to be merciful unto Esau because he's not merciful. He's kept that perpetual hatred. Now he going after Somalis and all of that, but eventually he really wants to crack down on Jake. The law's going to get so out of hand that you can just imagine what kind of chaos is going to come up between, especially with the Ducks going to be doing. A lot of these people, they're going to stop giving a fuck about all of this. Law's going to be thrown behind. It's going to be a lawless place, man. You know, that's on both ends, both the civilian and on ICE and all these different. It's going to be a lawless place. They're not going to be upholding their laws. You know, it's going to be so out of hand. We're kind of getting a glimpse of what Jacob's trouble is actually going to be like. When you see places like Iran, people are being shot. They're turning the internet off. You know, phones are down. You know, that leaves, you know, these people got absolute immunity. So it's a lot of life or death. Okay. What's the precept I was looking? I forgot what I was looking for. Salat. Let me just finish watching this video. You know, how much longer you think these Muslims are gonna fuck with you? If you fuck with one Muslim, they really, all of them were supposed to fuck you up. So they've been really nice to you. They really all supposed to. You ain't supposed to. You touch one, you're supposed to touch. That means you touch them all, every single one of them. You know, and these Muslims in America, they're soft. They're whitewashed. They ain't even like the real ones that, you know, when you really dig deep and get into your Quran, they really don't know. Okay, so there's gonna be a lot of different ideologies out there, groups clicking up and shit. People doing all types of shit, man. And this is what we're seeing, like clashes of ideologies. And don't think they can't get you too. Nothing but chaos, confusion, noise. Scriptures call it the sound of a tumult. That's what that is. Let me pull up some scriptures on the tumult. 1 Samuel 4, verse 14. And when Eli heard the noise of the crying, he said, "What meaneth the noise of this tumult?" And the man came in hastily and told Eli. That's not what I'm looking for. Psalms 83 and 2. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. That's going into all the different enemies, but I want to look at this word tumult. Make a tumult.
Strong's H, 1993. Hama.
Hama. A murmur, growl, roar, cry aloud, a mourn, a rage sound. A rage sound, make noise, tumult, be clamorous, be disquieted, be loud, be moved, be troubled, be in an uproar, to be boisterous, be turbulent, to be in a stir, be in commotion. That's going to be all over the place, man. It says war. Okay. Let's see what some of the precepts they got over here. 1 Kings 4, 1 Kings 1 and verse 41. And Adonijah and all the guests that were with him heard it as they had made an end of eating. And when Joab heard the sound of the trumpet, he said, "Wherefore at this noise of the city being in an uproar?" That's going on when King Solomon was going into being a king. That's all that means. I just thought of the word. I wasn't really thinking about a precept, but that's what a tumult is, man. It might be something I'm looking for, though. Psalm 74 and 23. Forget not the voice of thine enemies, the tumult of those that rise up against thee increaseth continually. Let me look this up. I think I'm looking about something in Jeremiah, maybe. The Lord called my name, Jeremiah 11 and 16, a green olive tree, fair and of goodly fruit. With the noise of a great tumult, he have kindled fire upon it, and the branches of it are broken. No. Hosea 10, verse 14, therefore shall a tumult arise among thy people, and all thy fortresses shall be spoiled, as Shalman spoiled Beth Arbel in the day of battle. The mother was dashed in pieces upon her children. Let me look this up. Hosea 10, verse 14. Hosea 10, verse 14, prophesy severe judgment on Israel for their wickedness, foretelling a devastating war in the fall of their strongholds, specifically referencing the brutal destruction of Beth Arbel by King Shalman, likely Shalmaneser V, where mothers and children were mercilessly killed, symbolizing the complete ruin that awaits Israel due to their idolatry and misplaced trust in human power instead of God. It serves as a vivid warning that God's justice brings inescapable tumult and ruin, contrasting with their vain confidence in fortifications and alliances. That's pretty much it. But anyways, what's this? This happened today. Multiple people killed and injured in Mississippi shootings. Multiple people have been killed and injured in a series of shootings that took place in Clayton County, Mississippi, according to the Clayton County Sheriff's Office. Listen to this.
New tonight, 6 people are dead after a man's alleged shooting spree overnight in Mississippi. Our Alex Perche is tracking this story for us. Alex, what do we know about how this all unfolded?
Well, I can tell you that investigators there in Clark County, Mississippi, are saying that this is one of the worst mass shootings in state history. What we're learning is that 24-year-old Derica Moore is their suspect. They say that last night around 7 p.m., they first got the first 911 call. They say that Moore allegedly shot his father, Glenn, his older brother, Quentin, and then also his uncle, before stealing his brother's truck, driving over to another home where they say that he tried to sexually assault a 7-year-old before killing that young girl, and then left to another home where they say he shot and killed 2 brothers. Again, I mean, this is fast developing. They're saying these details are still kind of coming in. They don't know a motive right now, but they say that he was apprehended without incident at a checkpoint that they had set up for public safety around that area. But earlier today, we heard from the district attorney, who again said that this is one of the worst crimes he's ever seen. Take a listen.
There's some cases just that they've got to get the worst punishment. They've got to get the worst punishment. If he's eligible, we're going to go for the death penalty.
Yeah, and I mean, you hear it there, but just to put this in context, we track a lot of this stuff through the Gun Violence Archive, and so far, thus far in 2026, this is the deadliest mass shooting in America.
Wow, just startling details there. Alex Perche, thank you.
The deadliest mass shooting in America, starting in 2026, man. So this is how this year started. I mean, we're going on the 11th day. So this is how the Lord's kicking this place off, man. Got family members putting their family members to death. I'm telling you, man. Matthew 24 in verse number 12. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. Iniquity is sin. So as those things start to increase, the love of many is waxing cold, man. You're going to hear worse and worse crimes, man, going on. It's going to get worse and worse and worse. You look at this word cold.
Strong's G 5594. Psucho. Psucho.
It says psycho. He pronounces suko. But psycho, man. Okay, of waning love. All right, There ain't gonna be any love in the time of Jacob's trouble. All love and grace is over, man. It's just gonna be judgment, continuous judgment. You know, people can't really wrap their minds around that, but this is a system that's crashing. Okay, and it's crashing from the inside out, because that's what Esau is a plague, man. He's showing you that. That's why everything's internal. He wants to creep into Greenland, and he wants to go over here and fight his allies. That's how cancer works. So the rest of these nations, these BRICS nations who were doing these military drills in South Africa, they're going to try to block, the BRICS nations are going to try to block him from spreading his disease, man. They're going to work together and try to quarantine this place, because that's how wicked this place is, man. And it's going to be cut off. It's going to be cut off, man. And a lot of you don't see that it's wicked. That's the crazy part about it all. You in the last days, and you don't see anything wrong. And you wonder why you need to be burnt up. You won't even understand why it's coming. It tells you in Isaiah, the 60th chapter, gross darkness to people. That's where y'all are at. You want this place to continue. These people are signing up to work for ICE and shit. This nigga's Epstein files ain't even, they don't give a fuck about the Epstein. You don't care if you don't want to find out if this dude's an actual pedophile, and you don't give a fuck. So you gotta go. You gotta go, man. It gets to, oh, well, as long as he's paying me, that's wickedness, man. That has to stop. Because you getting paid, well, you know, it's tough times. I need to get this bag. Okay. You go take that bag. Okay. I forgot where I wanted to go. What was I looking at? So Psycho, love of many shall wax cold. You know, Jake like that, that's ultimately a spirit created for vengeance. You know, but he went and killed his family. So I was thinking about this precept where it says, "They of your own household shall be your enemy," KJV. Matthew 10 verse 36. Let's go there. You think it's sweet. You're going to find out. Matthew 10 verse 34. "Think not that I am come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword." So a lot of people think Jesus is bringing peace to the earth because Jesus is adverse to what the scriptures say. Okay. But Yahweh Shai is telling you in red letter, think not that I am come to send peace on earth. So he's telling you what not to think. Okay, I came not to send peace, but a sword. Okay, he's going to division, destruction. Okay. Matthew 10, verse 35. "For I am come to set a man at variance against his father." And that man killed his father. Let's look at this word variance. Variance is a statistical measure of how spread out numbers in a data set are from their average mean, calculated at the average of the squared differences from the mean, indicating that data dispersion. Okay, and that's not what I'm looking. In probability theory and statistics, variance, no. Bible. In the Bible, variance, mostly from the King James Version, means discord, strife, dissension, or bitter controversy, reflecting a state of disunity and conflict between people, often stemming from selfish ambition rather than a neutral difference. It's listed as a work of the flesh in Galatians 5 and 20. That's already, you know, so strife is fights. Set a man at variance against his father, and against the daughter, and the daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. So everyone's going to be at odds with each other. And a man's foes shall be they of his own household. So those people that you love so much, that's your foe. That's your foe, man. You think the Lord wrote this for no reason? Enemy. Your family, man. Enemies. Hostile. And opposing another. We saw that with the jab shot, man. Families got broken up over the jab shot. Families are being broken up every single day. Especially if you have this truth. If you think you can be in the truth and eat your cake too, and these scriptures don't apply to you, then you're probably wicked. You're probably wicked. Opposing God in the mind. You see, that's what most of our family members are. So it really ain't you, it's their relationship with the Lord that they hate. A man that is hostile, a certain enemy. This dude killed his father, his uncle, his brother, stole a car, dipped off, tried to grape a 7-year-old, killed her, then went to somewhere else and killed 2 brothers. The hostile one, the devil, who is the most bitter enemy of the divine government. Yeah. Your enemies, man. Your own family. And they're going to show you it too. If you don't already see it. They're gonna expose themselves to you that they don't give a fuck about you. Your own mother, your own father, your own cousin, your own brother. You know, it might be around this time when Jacob's trouble hit. Man, you never did this and you never did that. You always went to work. You'd be like, what? You know, I got things in. Nah, you just selfish. You always thought about yourself. And it's going to seem like, where the hell is all this coming from? And then bow, 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 bow. He's going to put you to death. Shit don't even make any sense. But it does make sense when you realize you don't have no wisdom. The Lord ain't impute you any wisdom. You should have been got up out of there. You're supposed to be like Yahweh Shai. Let me grab this in the book of Luke. Chapter 2. In verse, let's visit to Jerusalem. Luke 2, verse 41. Now his parents went to Jerusalem every year at the feast of the Passover. Unlike your parents, they're not thinking about the Passover. What are they doing every year? Christmas, Easter. They even celebrate Halloween. Wickedness. And they've been practicing that their whole life. And here you come talking about something contrary to what they believe in. How dare you? Luke 2, verse 42. And when he was 12 years old, they went up to Jerusalem after the custom of the feast. So let's talk about Yahweh Shai. That's talking about Joseph. That's talking about Mary. And when they had fulfilled the days as they returned, the child Yahweh Shai tarried behind in Jerusalem, and Joseph and his mother knew not of it. So they didn't know that Yahweh Shai stayed behind. But they, supposing him to have been in the company, went a day's journey, and they sought him among their kinsfolk and acquaintance. Mind you, Yahweh Shai is 12 years old. And when they found him not, they turned back again to Jerusalem, seeking him. 12 years old, left his family. And it came to pass that after 3 days, they found him in the temple, sitting in the midst of the doctors, both hearing them and asking them questions. So he was learning about this word. Okay. Ecclesiastes 12:1. Remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil day comes not, nor the years draw nigh when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. Yahweh Shai, 12 years old, in the temple, man. Amidst the doctors. You look at this word doctors. It's not talking about, the doctor you go when you go to the hospital. It says a teacher. Okay. In the New Testament, one who teaches concerning the things of God and the duties of man. That's a doctor. We're doctors through the Spirit. The duties of man. Ecclesiastes 12 verse 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. Okay? This word is what heals you. One who is fitted to teach or thinks himself so. A doctor. That's what I'm looking up. The teachers of Israelite religion. No such thing as Jewish. Of those who by their great power as teachers draw crowds around them, i.e. John the Baptist, Yahweh Shai. Prophets. By preeminence use of Yahweh Shai by himself as one who showed men the way of salvation. That's what he did. As one who showed men the way of salvation. Isaiah the 30th chapter. Isaiah 30 in verse 20. And though the Lord give you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, yet shall not thy teachers be removed into a corner any more, but thine eyes shall see thy teachers. Let's look at this word corner. Let's look at be removed into a corner.
Strong's H, 3670. Kanaf.
It says to be put or thrust in or into a corner. Be hidden from view. Be cornered. Be thrust aside. A lot of Israelites be hidden from view. Can't see them. Where they at? Can't see you out. Of the apostles and of Paul. Of those who in the religious assemblies of the Christians undertook the work of teaching with the special assistance of the Holy Spirit. Doctors of false teachers among Christians. A false doctor. So this is who Yahweh Shai was around in the temple. Both hearing them and asking them questions. A lot of y'all don't ask me. Everyone thinks they know it all, man. You know, we all need to learn something, man. There's so much in the scriptures that it takes forever to know, man. It takes forever. And then when you think you got it all, the Lord still shows you something you didn't know. Luke 2 verse 47, I'm going to keep it moving. And all that heard him were astonished at his understanding and answers. So he's 12 years old. Have an understanding of the scriptures. There's grown-ass men that don't know what's written in the Bible. They're still saying, well, God loves everybody. That's a 12-year-old Yahweh Shai was, even though, you know, he was the Lord. Okay. But Joseph was following the Passover. His mother was keeping the law. Luke 2 verse 48. And when they saw him, they were amazed. And his mother said unto him, Son, why hast thou thus dealt with us? Behold, thy father and I have sought thee sorrowing. And he said unto them, How is it that ye sought me? Was ye not that I must be about my father's business? He's 12 years old talking to his mother like this. I must be about my father's business. And they understood not the saying which he spake unto them, and he went down with them and came to Nazareth and was subject unto them. But his mother kept all these sayings in her heart. And Yahweh Shai increased in wisdom and stature and in favor with God and man. So you want to increase. And I was thinking of another precept too. Who is my mother? Matthew 12 verse 48. Let's go there. Matthew 12 verse 48. Let's start at 46. It says changed relationships. Matthew 12, verse 46. Let's get red letter. While he yet talked to the people, behold, his mother and his brethren stood without, desiring to speak with him. Then one said unto him, behold, thy mother and thy brethren stand without, desiring to speak with thee. But he answered and said unto him that told him, who is my mother and who are my brethren? And he stretched forth his hand toward his disciples and said, behold, my mother and my brethren. For whosoever shall do the will of my Father which is in heaven, the same is my brother and sister and mother. So a lot of people can't rap. You supposed to honor your mother and your father, man. That's not saying you disrespect them or anything. But the scriptures tell you to love them less. The Lord comes first, man. You must be about your father's business, especially in these last days. And when you're about your father's business, like Yahushua was about his father's business, you're going to have enemies. Not to say that Mary and Joseph were his enemies, but it just goes to show you that the priority, how he prioritized the Lord over his family. And you want to make sure that your priorities are in order. Okay. So that's that. Ultimately, according to Ecclesiasticus 39, that was just a spirit created for vengeance, and I'll grab that. But there's gonna be more spirits created for vengeance in these last days. So if you ain't right with the Lord, man, things like that are gonna happen to you. Ecclesiasticus 39, verse 28, there be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. So the Lord put this man, pretty much whole family, to death, and he's facing the death penalty. That's a lot of spirits that just got taken away in one day. That's 6. Now, I don't know if when he went around for the second trip to kill the 2 brothers, if that was still part of his family. I don't know all the details. It's just, it's kind of like just happened. It says 7 hours ago. But it shows you what type of spirits that are out there. You got little Juan getting kneed in his face by ICE agents, and he sleeps in his car. And he's legally here. And he was nothing to pick up. He didn't need 8 ICE agents to pick him up, handcuff him, and do all that. What's this? It says Duck threatens military land action against drug cartels inside Mexico. Oh shit, now it's Mexico.
Just 1 week after the deadly strikes in Venezuela, tonight the State Department renewed.
What's going on here?
Just 1 week after the deadly strikes in Venezuela, tonight the State Department renewing calls for Americans to leave that country. And it comes as President Trump is now threatening.
I don't know. I'm not hearing anything. So let me just look at my sound. Input out. Let's see if this
To take military action against drug cartels inside Mexico. Here's ABC's.
I can't hear what. I don't know why I can't hear it. This nigga Esau's fucking with me again. I'll just read it because I can't hear it on my end. Let me just press my Bluetooth maybe. My shit's blinking. I don't know why it does that sometimes.
Just 1 week after the deadly strikes in Venezuela, tonight the State Department renewing calls for Americans to leave that country. And it comes.
But it says President ducked threats of military action come after he suggested the military could also target Cuba, Colombia, and Greenland just 1 week after the deadly strikes in Venezuela. I don't know why I can't hear him. This thing's a piece of shit.
Comes as President Trump is now threatening to take military action against drug cartels in just 1 week after.
That's a lot, yeah. I'm telling you, man, this thing's a piece of crap. I was saying it's not connected. Add device. Connected. That didn't work. Make sure your Bluetooth device is still discoverable, then try again. I'm telling you, man, this devil. So lucky. Let me maybe check my phone. So, maybe I can hear it off my phone.
After the deadly strikes in Venezuela, tonight the State Department renewing calls for Americans to leave that country. And it comes as President Trump is now threatening to take military action against drug cartels inside Mexico. Here's ABC's senior White House correspondent, Selena Wang.
Tonight, the U.S. renewing their calls for Americans to leave Venezuela immediately. Just 1 week after the dramatic nighttime raid capturing the country's president, Nicolas Maduro. The State Department alerting U.S. citizens to take precautions because of reports of groups of armed militias known as colectivos setting up.
So he's telling people to leave in Venezuela. That's crazy, man. Hold on. I'm trying to hear it off my phone. He's telling Americans to leave Venezuela, man. That's crazy. Why? They were just fine over there. They were probably living peacefully over there. Probably got a whole life over there. They probably been in Venezuela. People probably treat them nice now. Everyone's looking at the criminals or something. They probably been doing good over there. Now it's all, I wouldn't want to live there. He's making it super hostile. You probably don't even feel comfortable being around there. Fucking demon.
Roadblocks and searching vehicles for evidence of U.S. citizenship or support for the United States. Tensions running high on the streets of Venezuela this week as the government searches for anyone they believed helped the U.S. execute that raid. Reports of paramilitary groups vowing revenge and enforcing curfews in some neighborhoods. Trump now claims the U.S. is running Venezuela canceled a second wave of attacks because of cooperation with the new leadership.
People ask about the second wave. I don't think it's going to be necessary. We have an armada.
Those comments come as the president ramps up his threats on Mexico, Greenland, and even Colombia. Tonight, Mexico's president is urging closer coordination with the U.S. after President Trump threatens land strikes on drug cartels that he claims are running Mexico.
Presidente Trump.
Sheinbaum warns U.S. military action in Mexico would be a grave violation of the country's sovereignty, while insisting her government has been dismantled.
What the hell's going on with my internet, man? This nigga's really following me hard right now.
Drug labs and